You can save a significant amount of time and money by processing payments electronically from within Link ERP on a fully integrated basis. This applies to both paying your suppliers and potentially collecting money from customers. Let's take a quick look first at how this works when we're paying suppliers electronically as opposed to sending them checks or manually doing payment through an online banking interface. You start the process the same as you always do, by selecting the payments that you want to pay or the invoice that you want to pay. And you probably want to have different vendor types for the vendors that you do pay through online payment processing versus other payment modalities. Once you've selected what you want to pay, if you're going to do a check run, you would simply go ahead and click the Process button and select the appropriate bank account. But now, you'll notice that you have options for printing checks, online payments, which is a one-off online payment or wire transfer, or generating the electronic funds or ACH file. For electronic payment processing in a batch, simply click on this button over here. You'll notice that the 4 vendors for whom we selected invoices to pay are listed here with the total amount and a dynamically created reference number. You can click on the plus sign next to any one of these to drill down and see the actual invoices that are being paid on this payment run. When you're ready to go ahead, you can simply click on the Process button. This will mark these invoices paid and create a record ready for generating the appropriate file to upload to your bank in the format that your bank will accept. So let's click on Process, and you'll notice that you'll get asked a question. Payment run has posted successfully. Do you want to open the electronic fund transfer export screen now? This generates the file to upload to your bank. Now, unless there is any reason not to do that, you would go ahead and say yes. Note, however, you could go to the separate menu option for this file export and create the file from there by selecting either the payment run or the payment date. Let's go ahead and generate that file now. The screen that opens allows us to select the appropriate bank from a list of banks whose formats are supported and that have been set up in your data file. Select the payment date or payment run, and it's pre-selected, but again, as said before, if you went to the screen from the menu, you would have the option of selecting by payment date or payment run, and then selecting the appropriate payment range, the reference number. You will also specify where you want to create the file and what that file name is. This will be remembered by the system for each separate bank that you select so that you can use the same file name over and over again. And then simply go ahead and click on the Create File button to generate the file. Now there's also an option to immediately email check stubs or payment advices, and they'll be set up to the appropriate email addresses set up on the vendor based on the rule for payments. So the other option is to use the ARM, the Automated Routines Manager, to automatically send payment advices a specified number of days before the payment is due. So if you're creating a payment file but uploading several weeks or several days in advance, then you may not want the payment advice to go out too far in advance. So you would set up the ARM to maybe send out the payment advice 3 days or maybe 2 days before the payment is going to hit the vendor's file. But it's your choice either way, so we'll go ahead and create the file. And the file has been created. The only step remaining now is to log onto your online banking, click on the upload option on your online banking portal, and upload the file, and all these vendors are paid. Now, a similar thing applies if you want to collect your electronic payments from your customers. You'll need to get consent in writing to withdraw money directly from their bank accounts, and the bank details need to be filled out on the customer screen. But you use the same bank payment run screen. And as you see at the top now, instead of selecting accounts payable items, we're selecting accounts receivable items. We're selecting the customers based on the ones that we've set up for electronic payment, whose due date matches. We've selected customer types that can also be selected, etc. And then you can select individually which invoices you want to take payment from, or select all. You just do exactly the same thing as we did on the previous run with vendors. You go ahead and process the payment run. It will show you which customers we're going to be pulling money out of and how much in each case. And then what we need to do is select which bank we're actually creating an export for. So let's say it's going to be TD Bank. Then create the location that you're going to send the file to, select the bank account that it's going to be deposited into in your bank, and click on the Export File button to create the file. Then you'd upload it to the bank, and once you're happy that everything's worked out, you would simply click Post Payment Run, which would then reduce your receivables or set the payment received against outstanding invoices and update all the bank information as appropriate.